if your child, niece, nephew, mentee, or someone that like looks up to you came to you and said, I heard so and so was talking about me, what would you tell them to do? Hey y'all, Nene here. Thank you all for clicking on this video. Before I get started, I did just want to say that I noticed today that I'm at about 90 or so subscribers, trying to make 100. 99 and a half won't do. So thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for every time you click a like or leave me a comment and let me know I'm not just talking to myself. And thank you for subscribing and rocking with me. It feels good to see something that you're working on grow. So thank you. But I wanted to come on today and talk about sisterhood, friendship, and what that means and what it doesn't mean, and use a contemporary example to shed light on issues as it relates to sisterhood. And I don't want to come off like judgmental, or I'm not a drama channel. I won't be a drama channel. But I do feel like sometimes when situations like this happen, there are some teachable moments. And so allow me to just clear my mind and add a little bit of sunshine to all this shade. So, situation happened with Kaya, who is a rapper, a blogger in her own right, and Michelle Brown, who runs the website Straight from the A. It's a gossip blog. And she's done so successfully for years. Long story short, the two women become friendly, become associates because they have a common enemy. Lesson number one: how you get them is how you lose them. And it's often said when like a woman who is having an affair with a married man ends up losing that married man to another affair. It's often said then, but I like to think of it in terms of friendships too. If your foundation with your friend is just drama and mess and foolishness and a whole bunch of cattiness, like that's the foundation in which you're building your friendship. When stuff hits the fan, who has the skill set, the emotional intelligence to call you and be like, we good, sis? If that wasn't done in the whole Kaya T.S. Madison situation, we good, sis? So long story short, Kaya has a call-in show. A caller, a stranger, a third party called Kaya and said, have you heard what Michelle is saying about you? And Kaya went clean off. And I've seen this happen before, where some YouTubers will say, well, I haven't heard that yet, so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to what he or she allegedly said. Perfect response. And not that I haven't been there, but I just think it's sad. Like, the older you get, I'm 37. Michelle Brown is mid-40s, 44, 45. Kaya is 40. That's what Wikipedia says, but I think Kaya is a grandmother. These are like grown women. We're not talking about some 22-year-old on the cast of Love and Hip Hop. Like, these are grown women who are established in their careers and have the public eye. And so to see a public blowout like that, it just kind of gives me pause, and I want to talk about it. And 3 words, not even like a grammatically correct sentence, but a we good, sis. Sometimes it's all it takes. If you haven't talked to your homegirl in a while and you feel like there may be some tension and some beef and you just need to break the ice, like, instead of having some passive aggressive, instead of having some passive aggressive like blow up or blow out on social media, or subtweeting and doing all that foolish stuff that I expect from high school students, how about you pick up the phone and say, hey sis, I ain't heard from you in a while, we good? Or hey sis, you posted something on Facebook, like, we good? Is there anything we need to talk about? And it's simple. It sounds simple, but it's not the easiest thing to do. It's very easy for me to blow up on you. Like, I had a few rules to live by, and one of them is I clown you where you clown me, which means that if we are on social media and you post something subliminally, but I know you talking about me, in the past I had no problem getting in your comments and telling you about yourself. Not cute. Very passive aggressive. I was the type of person that I would let things build up and build up and build up, and where I should have said just slight adjustments to friendships as you grow and as you change and as you mature. It's like, I didn't really like the way it felt when you said so and so in front of so and so. Like, I told you that in confidence, and you know, I really didn't like how it felt that you repeated that. Like, we good, sis? Or, hey sis, like, you posted so and so on Facebook and I kind of felt like you were talking about me. We good, sis? Like, very small tweaks or very simple corrections and adjustments that you can make and massage in relationships. Sometimes we don't do that. We just let things build up and build up and build up and build up and build up until we explode and completely ruin relationships and ruin opportunities. And it ain't cute. Like, some of us, like, we look down, we turn our nose at homegirl in the satin bonnet and the SpongeBob pajamas fighting in Walmart. Like, we look down on her, but we conduct ourselves the same way. And we think it's cute. What makes you any different? I took my bonnet off and you didn't. I mean, I'm just saying, let's be better. So many people who have the mentality that unless you're reading somebody and going off on somebody and cussing somebody out, you're weak. And that's not true. There's so much power in, I feel like I've said this before even on my channel, but I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't want to look back over my life and see a field of like ruined relationships because I didn't have the emotional intelligence or the maturity to just go to a person and say, this is what's bothering me and how can we adjust it or fix it. And I can think of 3 relationships in general, one of which I've gotten right, 2 of which I blew up. And I knew at the time when I was doing it that I am blowing this relationship up, and once I say what I'm about to say, there is no coming back from it. But I did it anyways. And while I was ready to chuck deuces in both cases, and I'm completely fine that I don't talk to both individuals anymore, I hate that 10 years later, 12 years later, looking back at things, that I felt wronged, but because I didn't have the emotional intelligence and the language at the time to say, you did me wrong, and here's, my reaction didn't merit what they did. And so I built up years of stuff that they had done that offended me, and it was petty, and it was Mad Day. And so Candy on Real Housewives of Atlanta is the first time I ever heard that term, but Mad Day is basically that day when you get mad at somebody and you blow them out, and every single thing you know, every secret, every, like, that's not cute. And like I said, while I'm okay in both instances, like, I believe in letting certain people go. Like, it ain't nothing for me to say, done, and move on. I almost think I do that too much and too easily. So I don't grieve the relationship at all. What I grieve is my response to it, because it would have felt better for me in hindsight had I clearly articulated what I said. I would have felt more justified in saying, you did this and this is why I don't deal with you anymore. Whereas now I kind of feel like, in all fairness, I owe them an apology when they wronged me. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if I steal your pencil and you punch me in my eye and burn up my house. Yes, stealing your pencil was wrong, but did you really have to punch me in my eye and burn up my house? And here's a news flash. When somebody says something, or you hear somebody says something about you and you don't address it or go to the source, that avoidance comes from fear. I don't care what you say. It comes from fear. And so when you avoid a situation and you do not address it and you do not know how to handle, and you refuse to kind of handle a situation before it gets out of hand, and your only response is ever blowing up and going off from somebody and reading somebody, look, I don't come from a place of like moral authority on this. Like, I've been there. I've never gone off like that and felt good about it a week later. Like those huge big blow-ups where like you go off and you feel good and you're so proud of yourself because you went off and you screenshot it and sent it to your homegirl. You're so proud of how you like said everything you needed to say. I usually don't feel good about that in a couple of days. And so I'm learning. And see, I get convicted about that stuff. And I have to go back and get it right. And it's so much easier to do it right the first time than have to like humble yourself and come back and apologize to somebody who did you wrong. And so like, if you don't have that internal navigation system that makes you feel bad, I'm probably not talking to you. It's probably not the video for you. But if you have that, whether it's a relationship with God, conviction, whatever it is, whatever it is for you, if you have that, where like you like, I showed my behind today and I shouldn't have did that. I gotta get this right. What happened to me was I kept getting that feeling. I shouldn't have did that way. I gotta get this right. I should not have said that in staff meeting that way. It felt good at the time, but that wasn't me presenting my best self. I gotta get that right. And so what happened is I kept having these I gotta get that right feelings. And it's like pulling in your gut, like in your core. It's just like, come on now, T, you're better than this. And so eventually, after having that so much and having to apologize so much, again, to people who did me wrong, but my reaction, like, my reaction was like 5 times that. It didn't feel good to have to keep going back and getting things right with people. And so finally, I just decided that I'm going to stop being so passive aggressive. If I have something I need to say, I'm going to say it. If you're the type of person that does not like it when I try to massage and correct a relationship, well then I just don't need to be in a relationship with you, and that's okay. But my friendships, the few that I have left, just playing, but my friendships are better for it. Like, new people that I'm allowing into my life, like, we're better for it, because I'm not holding back bottled up emotions from 12 years ago. The older I get, the more meek I become, and sometimes instead of identifying that as like a work of like my spiritual growth and development, like that's what like meekness is the goal, right? But yet we look at meekness as weakness, and we look at reading and dragging and all of this stuff as being the better way. I'm here to say that maybe it's not. Like, maybe the better way is to quietly pick up the phone and call your sister and say, look, sis, you tripping. Did I do something to offend you? Like, what's good? Me and a friend may have had like a heated debate, and I don't hear from her in a couple of days. It's nothing for me to say, I know you don't call yourself mad at me, just as like a way to get in and break the ice and make sure that we cool. We good, sis? And so I just hope that the teachable moment and the takeaway in this is that we don't look at the situation and say team A or team B won. It ain't cute. It ain't cute. I just want to know that, like, this online stuff we all get so wrapped up in is not really what we out here doing in real life. Like, I just want to know that. Like, I just want to trust that, like, the older we get, we are evolving and we're teaching and we're training young women things like conflict resolution, emotional maturity. Like, perfect example, at work today, I came in, read a series of emails from a coworker, and instantly jumped hot. I was mad. My first response was honestly to wait until she came in, because I'm like, no, sis, I'm not doing this. But then the mature thing to do is to give it some time. Draft an email response, kind of calm down, think about it. I reread her email, kind of noticed that like her tone wasn't like demanding like I had read it before, but it was more graceful than I had originally given her credit for. And so I was able to draft an email that had enough teeth to let her know, like, I'm not doing this, but was also graceful enough to offer some alternatives and some advice that I took some time to redirect her such that we weren't wasting time and my time, but I was firm that I'm not doing this. And so I'm not saying be a doormat at all. There's so much freedom now in growing up and being able to say what you need to say because you ask for exactly what you need. You don't just sit around and let people manipulate you and get digs in and things like that. No, we get ready to talk about this now. I feel like there's power sometimes in saying, just look direct. Look, sis, we good? Texting, we good? Anytime there's a situation, like, don't sit in your head and make up things and give people intentions that aren't. Ask, what's going on? I haven't heard from you in a couple of weeks. We good? And there were people in my life once I started taking on these traits. There were people in my life who would say to me, like, you just like drama, because they weren't used to handling issues head on. It's like, no, it's not that I like drama. I just want to make sure we're okay. Because what I won't do, what I don't feel good in, what makes me anxious, what gives me anxiety, is being in a situation where we have tension and nobody's discussing it. Like, that's that fake stuff I don't do. Like, that's that fake stuff I don't do. I can't be in an environment where there's tension and nobody's addressing it. So what causes you to avoid people, to avoid an issue, to avoid making the phone call, to avoid sending the text message, what causes people to go off on these rants and raves and say things on social media that they have not yet said to your face, like, what causes that is fear. And so the weird jacked up society that we're in tells us that that's like the good way. Like, oh my gosh, she read her snap, she went off. The older you get, you realize, like, there's a better way. Like, there is a better way. And I think sometimes we're so accustomed and so like used to dysfunction that the easy solution seems ridiculous. Absolutely certain behaviors that necessitate a read or a rant or whatever. Like, there are certain behaviors that necessitate that. Like, they do. But don't lose your power behind it. Like, tell yourself, like, either way, I'm going to be okay. So I'm not about to lose my power and lose my I'm not about to lose my power and lose my decorum from this. Like, I'm not doing that. People how to treat you. And so if you gently like massage and redirect your relationships, gradually people will learn. People will learn. You may do that with somebody else, but you don't do that with me. Here's what I want to know. That's all I just want to. If your child, niece, nephew, mentee, or someone that like looks up to you came to you and said, I heard so and so was talking about me, what would you tell them to do? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.